devotees. I'll start with the Mangala Charan prayers. Om Agnana Timirandhasta Gyananjaya Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnaprasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namane Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschattu Deshatparine Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, Hare Krishna devotees, yesterday we started with the Jiva Goswami lecture, but that was third in the serial number. Second was Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So, today we will hear from Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and after completing this lecture, we will resume with Jiva Goswami.
Chanted by you. Seeing me as a distressed soul, please constantly bestow your mercy upon me. Due to your magnanimous nature, please fulfill my desire. Besides you, who, like the water-laden cloud of the monsoon, will quench my thirst. You are undoubtedly the hope for the hopeless. In my heart, I am completely convinced about that. I beg you to kindly look upon me with your tender eyes, shining with sympathy. Very beautiful, huh? Very beautiful. We mentioned this before. It's worth mentioning it again and again. A very core teaching and practice amongst the followers of Lord Chaitanya is like this, calling for the mercy of advanced souls. Not only in this case his Diksha Guru, but the other, so many other elevated Vaishnavas, just like we can do for the praying to these elevated Vaishnavas. We're not likely to associate with them directly, although we cited a number of examples where they have appeared before current generation people. And Prabhupada was one of those. Rupa Goswami appeared before him. Anyway, we call for the mercy of elevated personalities because we require mercy, we require effort, and we require mercy. The place of birth and the childhood of Gopal Bhatta was in Sri Ranganath. Here's a very beautiful photograph of the deity, and the Prati Bhu deity in the front, and Shri and Bhu along the side of the deity. Here's a close-up of the face and the arm, the extended right arm of Ranganath. This is the Lord of Rangakshetra. And we heard a lot about Ranganath when discussing the life of Vibhishan. Some of you know Ramayana. And towards the end of Ramayana, when Ram was crowned as the king, and there was saying farewell to everyone, Vibhishan was given a gift, and the gift that he was given was this deity to take with him back to Lanka. And there's a whole story, the history of this deity being manifest directly to Lord Brahma and being passed on, and eventually in the Ikshvaku dynasty, and worshipped by them, and Ram gave the deity to Vibhishan. Vibhishan was carrying the deity to Lanka. The deity let him know, I want to stay here by the side of the river, but I'll look in your direction, south, and protect you and guard you. And deities don't point in the southerly direction. In Vastu configuration, they don't. So anyway, that's the history of the deity, and this is where Gopal Bhatta was born. He was born the son of Venkata Bhatta, who at that time was the chief priest in Srirangam. And yesterday, I think it was, we saw some photographs of Srirangam. It's like a huge place. Huge place. Very huge place. And to be the chief priest of that huge place, that's quite an honor. And I visited Srirangam. In fact, I was somehow escorted to the place where Lord Chaitanya stayed for the 4 months of the rainy season, the house of Venkata Bhatta. It's not exactly in Srirangam. It's in a subdivision or a section or a little place, has a certain name. And we met, or the person who showed us around was the 13th descendant from Venkata Bhatta, named Parashara Bhatta. Very elevated person, very gracious person, but very down to earth. We walked inside, and it was one of those homes that has walls that are like 3 feet thick. And, because the walls are so thick inside, it was cool, even if it was hot outside. And it was just empty space. So we walked around, and I asked, where did Lord Chaitanya stay? And he went like this. He said he stayed all over. He went all around. It was his place when he stayed here. And there's a feeling that he had that apparently, it says, passed on to the generations. Very clear that Lord Chaitanya is the personality of Godhead. They, from Venkata Bhatta, and his brother, who was Gopal Bhatta's uncle, Prabodhananda Saraswati, and of course Gopal, they were very clear. He's not just an elevated sannyasi, he's the personality of Godhead. That was very clear from our exchange with Parashara Bhatta. So here's the deity, and he, being born in this Brahmana family, and prestigious Brahmana family at that, he had a natural devotional attraction. It's said about his childhood that even as a child, he had a dream about Lord Chaitanya. And in the dream in Lord Chaitanya, he saw him as a sannyasi. He didn't so much like seeing him as a sannyasi. So in the dream, Lord Chaitanya showed his householder pastimes in Navadvip. This is before he even came to Sri Ranganath, or Rangakshetra. And it said when Lord Chaitanya did come, he was in the range of 7 to 10 years old. So imagine some young boy already having dreams about Lord Chaitanya, having him stay in their home for 4 months. And naturally, a sannyasi and a young devotional boy, there was a bond of affection right away that just got thicker and thicker and thicker as the time went by. So Gopal would just do any little service he could do, cleaning and washing and bringing and carrying messages and sitting and listening and everything. He got really attached to Lord Chaitanya real fast. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a celebrated section. I'll narrate it quickly because of time. But every evening, Lord Chaitanya and Venkatabhata would have discussions on scriptural topics, because his father was very learned, not just a priest or a Brahmin, but he was very learned. So in the course of their discussions, one time Lord Chaitanya was having some fun, and he said, can you answer a question for me? Why is it that the goddess of fortune is said to be most chaste, and yet she wanted to leave the side of Narayan and go to where Krishna was performing rasa dance? Could you explain? And Venkatabhata said, there's no difficulty, because Lord Narayana and Lord Krishna are the same. There's no lack of chastity on Lakshmi's part. That's very good. If there's no difference, then please explain why it is that the goddess of fortune had to undergo austerities for thousands of years in order to gain entrance into the rasa dance. And even with those austerities, she couldn't get entrance into the rasa dance, if they're the same. And Venkatabhata said, I don't know, but I think you know. Could you explain? And so it's a nice teaching in practical ways. Lord Chaitanya taught Venkatabhata and taught us that she was unable to enter because she had the mood of being the goddess of fortune. And the mood of the rasa dance, or the mood of being in Krishna's Leela in Vrindavan, requires leaving that to the side, or requires another mood. Since that was not her mood, despite austerities, she was not capable. And then he explained the principle of entering into Krishna's pastimes is the principle of getting the mercy of those who are participants in Krishna's pastimes. This is this mercy principle, one more time. And then Lord Chaitanya did a big, back up. He said, but they're the same, and there's no lack of chastity, and moved on. Now, in the course of the time spent with Lord Chaitanya, as already mentioned, it was very clear to all of them, he's the personality of Godhead. Now imagine what that would feel like. He's staying in your home. Wow. When it came time for Lord Chaitanya to leave, Gopal was crying and wanted to go. And Lord Chaitanya insisted that he stay and serve his parents until that time that his parents would give permission for him to go, or they would depart this world. And so that was his parting instruction. He received Diksha from Prabodhananda Saraswati. I already mentioned his parting instructions. Here's a painting inside the temple there, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pictured on the left. Little Gopal is right in front of him, and some other brahmanas hearing teachings from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he remained in Sri Rangam for a total of 40 years. He wasn't idle while he was there. And then 45 years residing in Vrindavan, So all these Goswamis, they lived very long time. While he was in Sri Rangakshetra, he was busily studying the Bhagavatam because he had heard the Bhagavatam from Lord Chaitanya, and it's not a principal scripture that the Sri Vaishnavas read, but he read it assiduously, and he kept very careful notes. Now, I don't know if you know anybody. I know some devotees. They have really, really careful notes. I mean, with the books that they read, there's more page markers than there are pages. I mean, there's like all over the place. And he was apparently that kind of person. And he kept notes and kept notes and kept notes. And later those notes became the Sandarbhas. At least there's a version that says like that, and that's my understanding. And then later those Sandarbhas, because it's Lord Chaitanya's teachings through the Srimad Bhagavatam, it became, he handed it to Jiva Goswami, who we discussed earlier, and requested that you just organize this nicely, put it in publishable form, and just one request, don't mention my name. So Jiva Goswami, being very clever, didn't mention his name, but he spoke that in the very beginning verses, one Jiva Kaha is a diminutive phrase for Jiva, has made this request of me to compile this literature. And it's very profound, and at least my understanding is that Gopal Bhatta had a role. And not only he had a role in the Sandarbhas, he wrote a foreword for the Sandarbhas. He also compiled literature in the Sandarbhas directly, in Paramatma Sandarbha specifically, where there's teaching about the Jiva, because Paramatma and Jiva, to make a distinction, it's in Paramatma Sandarbha. And Jiva Goswami makes specific reference to a very celebrated Sri Vaishnava Acharya, a writer, whose name I can't remember right now, but it's mentioned in several places within Paramatma Sandarbha, which means, most likely, that's a person who Gopal Bhatta had confidence in, and based on his confidence, these are some teachings accepted by Lord Chaitanya and by Gaudiya Vaishnavas as the basic teachings of the Jiva. It's a detail. There's many such details in his writings. But a book explaining how to perform all the rituals. Rituals meaning like deity worship, observing Ekadasi, observing Janmashtami, the how to accept sannyas, the mantras for sannyas. It's everything that's involved in a Vaishnava's life. It's the how-to manual is Hari Bhakti Vilas. Gopal Bhatta similarly worked in a very detailed way on that text and gave it to Sanatana Goswami, and it became Sanatana Goswami's Hari Bhakti Vilas. But he had a big part to play in it. When he reached Vrindavan, after his parents had left this world, he was 30, but the instruction that was given to him was to go directly and be in the association of Rupa and Sanatana. And when Rupa and Sanatana received him, they were instructed by Lord Chaitanya to treat him like a brother. Now he was a little younger, but treat him like a brother. And so they did. He was one of the Goswamis, but they treated him like a brother. And they wrote a letter to Lord Chaitanya, giving him the good news. Yay, Gopal arrived. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wrote back and sent not only a note, again instructing them, take care of him like a brother, treat him very nicely. He sent some paraphernalia.
Hare Krishna. We will pause here. It's already 6:50. And Gopal Bhatta Goswami, what a personality, just like the other Goswamis. I really liked about his humble nature. He's such an elevated personality himself. He used to keep detailed notes about Srimad Bhagavatam, and those later on became the Sandarbhas, but he was never interested in publishing, advertising about his name. He helped Jiva Goswami and even Sanatan Goswami in their most elevated writings, but he made it a condition that his name should not be published. So that part I like very much. Now, any other volunteers from today's class who would like to share about what they liked from today's lecture? Hare Krishna.
Hare
Kumarika
Krishna,
Mataji, can we hear from? Yes, Mataji, please. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. So today lecture was very nice, Mataji. Before I never had like this. This is first time. I don't know much about Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So Maharaj explained very nicely. So from his childhood, he has taken birth in the great Brahmanas family, and in his childhood itself, he got a dream about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at their home 4 months. So he was very happy. He was serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in all the ways. And so that the part I like. And Mataji, what you said, no, Sandarbhas. So I heard that word Sandarbhas, but which book that means Sandarbha means what? The Maharaj explained this is a Bhagavatam notes he has written, and this called Sandarbhas. So I want to hear more about this. And writing notes is also very important. That thing, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes, very nicely said. Any other devotee from the group would like to just answer Lavanya Mataji's question that what these sandarbhas really mean? I do not know about it. So anyone from the group, if they can volunteer.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The Sandarbhas are a commentary upon the different aspects of in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is not chapter wise, but thematic compilations. There are 6 Sandarbhas. Some will highlight the Paramatma Sandarbha. He was talking about Paramatma Sandarbha. There's also Bhakti Sandarbha, Tattva Sandarbha, like that. 6 topics. Under these topics, different verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam will be taken and analyzed, and that's a commentary of that, but thematic commentary over different aspects of Bhagavatam, what Bhagavatam is highlighting. That is what Jiva Goswami compiled it, but Maharaj told us that it is actually originally the work of Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami. I like in the beginning, Maharaj talked about one should get the mercy of the devotees, how important it is to get the mercy of the Vaishnavas in our lives. Without that, anything progress is impossible. That is what, again, that is my takeaway, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for your takeaway and also for explaining to us what sandarbhas is. Harisham Prabhu, can we hear from you? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So basically, all our like Achinta Beda Beda Tattva, right? Like uh, this is what is described. If you want to understand more in depth what is Achinta Beda Beda Tattva, this is what the book Jiva Goswami has written for us to understand. So it starts with Tattva Sandarbha. So it is setting up the philosophical aspects of our Achinta Bheda Tattva, followed with like Paramatma Sandarbha, right? Like we know, like we start from Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, right? So here, like Jiva Goswami does not go into the impersonal realizations. That is, that commentary has been written by his Sankaracharya, right? Like Saririka Bhartiya. So he didn't touch that point. So he sets up the philosophical context in Tattva Sandarbha, like ontology and the etymology of like on what basis, what are the pramanas used, all those things is set up in Tattva Sandarbha. Then followed by, then he gives from Bhagavatam, like about Paramatma, like Paramatma Sandarbha. Then he introduces the realization of Bhagavan, which comes in the Bhagavat Sandarbha, right? And then it comes, and he introduces who is that Bhagavan, who is like none other than like Krishna himself, like Krishna. And then it goes to how to attain him, like is through bhakti. So it comes Bhakti Sandarbha. Then comes when we practice bhakti, what is the prayojana? What is the ultimate attainment? Is like Preeti Sandarbha. One attains love for God. So he just kind of thematically and systematically presents these topics based on our philosophy of Achinta Veda Vedanta. Is one other like aspect of what this Sandarbhas are about. And he's also here in Sandarbhas, he's showing how teachings of Lord Chaitanya is actually teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Srimad Bhagavatam is nothing other than is the natural Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra. So so he's building this narrative as well. Teachings of Lord Chaitanya is non-different from teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is non-different from or like it is the natural commentary written by Vyasadeva on the Vedanta Sutra.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu, for nicely explaining about all the Sandarbhas. Shulachana Mataji, you would like to say anything about today's lecture? Hare Krishna.
Mataji, are you asking me? Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Shulachana Mataji, yes, I was asking you if you can share anything from today's lecture, any particular thing you liked.
Mataji, I heard like first this 20 minutes only, Mataji. I will
Okay.
share Mataji, if anything is.
No problem, Mataji. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Hema Sundari Mataji, can we hear from you if you are free to share? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, for me, the highlight was the mood when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was discussing with Venkata about Lakshmi Devi entering Vrindavan. So it is very important that we have the right mood to enter them. So that was the highlight. Details I will speak later, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, that was a very nice highlight. In fact, the entire conversation and the reason why she was not allowed to enter, that was very nice. Thank you, Mataji, for your sharing. Sonali Mataji, would you like to share anything from today's class? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Nothing from today's class, Mataji. I like everything, but nothing specific to share.
Thank you, Mataji. That's a nice comment. In fact, actually, everything is very nice. That is a very right, correct statement you made. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Sweta Mataji, anything from your side today? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam. As Sonali Mataji said, I was enjoying everything. I was just thinking that how the 13th generation of the Venkata Bhatt in their family, they have preserved everything so nicely. They value it. I mean, we struggle nowadays that the next generation is not having any value or not respecting what they have, but they understand the value, they preserve it, and I mean, it is a kind of most valuable diamond for them, which the way they are treating as how and I understood. So that was one point I felt very happy. And then the second point, again, what Hemasundari Mataji said, the same point, but I was just thinking it in a different way. I was feeling very happy that when the goddess Lakshmi herself had to do penance for thousands of years, then we are the followers of goddess Lakshmi. We are running after her only. I mean, we just want a penny from her. So then, how many thousands of years? I was just laughing myself, Mataji. That's all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you for your sharing. Shanatana Gopal Prabhu, can we hear from you today? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. It's very nice to hear about Ranganath Ashtavigraha, which came down from Brahma. Very nice, so Prachin. And yesterday only we talked about, Maharaj talked about Tirumangai Alvar, how to, what do you call, develop that Ranganatha temple premises, and you were doing robbery and all those things. And today, actually, in order to participate in the pastime, one should get the mercy of the person who already participated in the pastime. That's what Maharaj was telling. So it's a Vaishnava's mercy is required. That point I liked very much. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, it's true. Vaishnava Mastery is the most important thing. Thank you, Prabhu, for your sharing. Nitin Prabhu, anything from your end for today? Hare Krishna. Maybe he's busy. Sarika Mataji, would you like to share anything from today's session? Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Shamkun Prabhu, I think we can hear from you. Over to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. When don't have much to say, but I'm still thinking or considering something here, or several points that I'm still considering. Like what Kumarika Mataji said, the point is the point that she appreciated about Gopala Bhatta Goswami, that he was following it, like he wanted to serve other devotees. That was a nice mood. Having said that, certain things come up here. I mean, like I was just thinking through it. I don't have my clear thoughts. I'll just tell what I was thinking through, and then I'll stop at that. Firstly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu clearly told at many places that one should not be arguing too much about philosophy. Because philosophy, too much of argument makes one's heart hard. But here we do see that he was gently cajoling Venkatabhatta into his understanding of philosophy. So what do we do? That was one question in my mind. How do we take it? And more so because we are going to read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. We read Chaitanya Charitamrita every Friday evening. And the section that we are going to read this evening is talking about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu defeating the Buddhists. It's not even like this gentle cajoling with Venkatabhatta, but it says that not just the Buddhists, there are so many other philosophers, he defeated their philosophy. What does it mean to defeat the philosophy there, and how do we reconcile it with the other aspect which Mahaprabhu said, that one should not argue too much, and there's a very sound reason for that argument. Actually, in other portions of the scripture, it's given. Unnecessary arguments are not required. So that was one part of this entire exchange here. Second part is it is very easy to say that yes, we have this great Gopalabhatta Goswami who made notes, who gave these notes to Jiva Goswami. Of course, Jiva Goswami compiled it, and then it looks like it is Jiva Goswami's name, but he indicated it is Gopalabhatta Goswami, Goswami's contribution. And Jiva Goswami also wrote his commentary on it called Sarva Samvadini. That was his original contribution. But the question that often occurs in sadhakas who hear this and then try to follow it is that I may do something and say, just give it to others and say, don't bring in my name at all. Just take it and do whatever you want. But the inner yearning for an appreciation, for wanting to be recognized as I have something of value, call it intelligence, call it divine benediction being bestowed upon me, anything like that may exist. So on one hand, we can always say that one should act commensurate to one's level of realization. One may say that way, but some may say that let me try now. Only if I try, I'll become something like I can follow in the footsteps of the Goswamis. The question that comes here is how do we speak to our own mind, and how do we uh, navigate the ship of our feelings when there is a need for recognition, and yet one knows that it is not uh, appropriate for one to keep oneself at the center. These are some questions I had in mind. If anybody has an answer now, great. If you want to add something later in the chat window, that's also fine. That's in the WhatsApp chat also. Any thoughts from you, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I mean, my thought would be for me, it is like more, it should come naturally. I mean, it should not be like I need to feel recognized. If I need to feel recognized, then personally, if I had that ability of writing and publishing books, then I would go for it. Because all these personalities, when we see, I mean, they are very natural, they are very spontaneous, they are very genuine in their feelings. It is not like I'm giving my writings to you so that I'm showing off that I'm having so much of capability, but I do not want to. It's not like that. They operate or act from a very, very different platform. So, Prabhu, I mean, that is my very limited understanding that whatever comes naturally, whatever comes from the heart, we should respect that and follow that, because nothing is wrong. I mean, if one has the capability to write and one is willing to be appreciated through writing, I mean, I don't see anything wrong in that. But from Gopal Bhatta Goswami's perspective, what I can see that he wasn't interested in those things at all. And he was very clear that he doesn't want any sort of publicity. He doesn't want his name to come in the forefront. So that is why he took Jiva Goswami's help in at least sharing his knowledge so that others will benefit from that. Sorry, Prabhu, I do not know whether it answered your question, but that is what I felt about your question. Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Thank you for answering that. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhupada was once reading his own purport. Somebody asked him, you have written it, why you are reading it? No, I have not written. Krishna dictated it, I have written. Like that, when we become an instrument for Krishna, whatever we do is through Krishna. It is the entire credit goes to Krishna. We will not find for credit. That kind of Krishna conscious attitude, if it is there, I don't think this problem will not arise. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Anyone else would like to answer the question raised by Shamkun Prabhu? Any volunteers? Kumarika Mataji, would you like to answer? Can we hear from you about Shamkun Prabhu's question? Hare Krishna Mataji.
My thoughts are almost like yours only, Mataji. It should come from the heart. Otherwise, it will be will be just imitating somebody like Gopala Bhatta Goswami and failing miserably.
Thank you, Mataji. Harisham Prabhu, can we hear from you on this question from Shamkun Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. I'm just still processing, Mataji, so I don't have a. I'm just thinking about it.
Okay, Prabhu.
Just
Thank
thinking like, okay, recognition can be of many varieties. Sometimes the recognition cannot be in a public forum mentioning the name. Sometimes there are need for recognition can be just, I should be part of that service. That is also the inner hankering will be there. If left out of service, sometimes like we feel why I've been left out, or that kind of mood will come up. I'm still processing it. I'm not too clear with my intention and what is it.
Thank you, Prabhu, for your sharing. Chenna Kishava Prabhu, would you like to attempt Shamkun Prabhu's question? Hare Krishna Prabhu.
No, Mataji. I'll have to go through once again, Mataji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. So my request would be then if those who are thinking about it, they can post their answers as suggested by Shamkun Prabhu in the group so that we can all hear. So Shamkun Prabhu, we can then discontinue the session for today.
Yes, Mataji, thank you very much for hosting for this week.
Thank you.
Today, Chanakeshwar Prabhu birthday, so we can all pray for him and chant one time Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram.
Happy birthday, Chanakeshwar. Happy
Thank
birthday,
you.
Prabhu.
Thank you all.
Happy
Thank you all.
Krishna conscious birthday, Chanakeshwar Prabhu.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Happy
Thank you,
Krishna
Mataji.
conscious
Thank
birthday,
you.
Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you all. Thank you for your prayers and wishes.
Happy Krishna birthday, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday, Prabhu.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Okay, so let's discontinue today's session. Vancha kalpatarubhisha kripa sindhu eva cha patitanam pavanebho Vaishnavibho namo namaha. Anantakati Vaishnavindo ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.